Welcome, Miracle Maker. This is the class on how does distant healing work. How does distant healing work is a question that movies like Cloud Atlas and some of the dream movies can help explain. One of my recent favorite movies, it's on Netflix. Clients that work with me, just to get their minds to understand how grand their body is and how grand the mystery of life is. It's really incredible to watch some of the movies that help you put into perspective a lot of the concepts we cannot yet put into words. There's actually a word for that, ineffable, right? It's so sacred, it's so grand, it's so wow, awe exposing. We can't even put it into words sometimes. And sometimes it's so sacred that you can't even talk about it. When Greg, my beloved father of my children, right? Beloved co-founder of Miracle Makers, this beloved man had an experience on the mountain, a mountain that he worked to have this experience. He meditated, he cultivated a space in his mind and in his heart and a connection with the land and the earth and the trees and in India, and following the quest of his heart, he got exposed to another dimension that is always available. If you know how to tune your station, I want to say that another way. There is a part of you that is always connected to something that is so grand that it beats your heart, it does your breathing for you. Whether you call this connection, right, a chemical reaction, whether you call this connection something like the universe or flow or synergy, whether you call this connection, whatever you might call this great mystery, more and more science and research from Yale, Harvard, HeartMath. New posts are coming out every day. Movies like Being Connected are coming out every day. And the movie that I'm talking about recently is Cloud Atlas. In this movie, a group of people, a cloud, a group, travel in different time periods together. And they are attempting to get organized. I want to say that another way. When you watch this movie, you can understand that there is a natural order to things. The natural order to our elements, right? The elements or the periodic table, we can take a look and qualify the numbers. There's a natural order to them. When we first started discovering this as scientists, collectively, as humanity started discovering this, the feelings that we had around it as a whole was, wow, it's ineffable. It's this amazing experience, but there was awe to it. And as we're discussing and discovering that you have 365 senses, this is going to take me 20 years worth of work to sit down and research and qualify. One of those 365 senses lets you know deeply, lets you know when you're connecting or connected to someone on your cloud atlas, something that you've had an experience with that's outside of the normal experience. Everyone has the ability to feel this, to know this, to tune into that channel. Those like myself who have practiced it since childhood are just more skilled at it. Sort of like cooking. When you first start cooking, you don't know which ingredients are going to taste great together, and you kind of just toss everything. You go by the cookbook, the recipe. Years and years and years into cooking, right? I now know what works together, what doesn't work together. I know how to make a dish really, really fast and tasty. I think that is my phone ringing, but that's on the computer and I don't know how to turn that one off. So we're going to listen to it ring until it doesn't ring anymore. What's extraordinary about energy healing, about you, about Cloud Atlas, about the natural order of things, when you feel something and you can't describe it in words, the only time you usually allow yourself to get to that space is when you're on vacation or when you're in a gathering of a beautiful nature, a ritualistic nature, somewhere that you've been to numerous times and you're relaxed. That's why Miracle Makers Online winds up being so useful for those that are around the world. It's a place to come to, a place to experience what can't be explained. It's just a feeling. It's sacred. It's wow, all of these things. And to understand distant healing within this, we humans, again, in the movie Cloud Atlas, in the walls of Egypt, in historical references, in the arts, humankind has always believed in distant healing. It's only in recent history that people have questioned whether it works or not and have asked questions on how does distant healing work. And we are getting so good at knowing that it works, right? We know, just like your heartbeat, we know the chemical cascade, we know the electrical charge, we know the pump, but we still don't have the definitive answer. And what causes the magnetic, electrical pumping, all of that. Same thing with distant healing. We've got great theories. Just like electricity, we're using electricity, but we don't really know how it works, the positive, the negative. We're using a lot within the periodic table, and it doesn't, like, we don't understand it fully. It's important to know that we may not know the answer yet, and anything that looks like, and this was Einstein that said, he said the technologies of the future will look no different than magic, right? Until science can explain it. Paraphrasing some of his work. Distant healing falls into this category. And many humans demand to know how it works before they believe it. And yet the word abracadabra, right? The word abracadabra, the root meaning of that, when the Hebrew, it means I create as I speak. And biblical references, historical references, and now all of this research going into when we speak and when we create and when we believe, whether you believe it to be true or believe it to be possible, or whether you believe it not to be true or not to be possible, both are true. That's what quantum physics is showing. One of the experiments is how one particle can be in two places. And when we first spoke about this in Miracle Makers, and when we first spoke about this in personal development of extraordinary people, how can one particle, say for example, a pen, be in two places? One pen. It's mind-boggling, and yet we don't have the capacity to fully get what it means. It means that each particle in theory, in this work, in this research, is showing that one particle can be in multiple places, which means if it's possible for a pen, carrying that out all the way further, it's possible for you. And everywhere your heart or thoughts go, everywhere they go, there you are. There you are. You imagine the sun, and the sun is with you. You can feel the warmth and the heat. You think of a lemon, and in your senses, when you start feeling it, your mouth can start producing the saliva. The lemon experience is with you. Distant healing works on so much of the true natural order of things. And we have to really step into, when in medical school, for me, when I was there in medical school and prayers were being said for me, medical school was hard. And I got in by a blessed experience, and it was hard. I could feel my parents' prayers, my siblings' prayers for me, their love for me, pushing me through this. As a Pakistani woman going to medical school in India at the time was really, really hard. Those prayers, that energy, and again, as someone who knew it, I could feel it. And that's what got me through medical school. Distant healing from my family, prayers. This Institute of Noetic Sciences has done studies on doctors praying for their patients, families praying, and when they don't pray, what the difference is, what happens. It's one of the many things that fit in to this understanding that you're connected to everything. Everything is connected to you, like your heartbeat, like electricity, like so many things. There is we can see it working, but we don't necessarily have the mainstream awareness. We lack a lot of scientific understanding of many things. And so most scientists believe that consciousness is completely, they used to believe that it was local. And now and the US government and many governments have been using remote viewing, psychics, that energy for a long time. It's now, we're studying it in evidential channeling is what it's called when we wind up studying it, evidential channeling. And so it's really, really beautiful to fully understand and keep in mind that everything that you say out loud that has energy in motion, emotion to it, is creating a wave, an energy to it that is in the unseen world, in the energy world, having a result. And everything in the field, two particles, right? One item being in two places at the same time. It's now the hologram, right, of two things in two locations. But because the person perceiving it over here is perceiving it from a particular angle. A person perceiving that same item from another place is perceiving it completely differently. And the larger frame swallows the smaller frame. I want to say that another way. As you look at me in this Zoom meeting, or you might be looking at a picture, right? You might be looking at a picture on your telephone as you're listening to this. The larger frame of this is capturing a picture in the background here. My larger frame, unless I point it out, and then we look within the larger, the picture that's behind my desk, or the picture within a picture that might be in your telephone. The largest frame is going to take up the particle that comes in. How distant healing works is there is a bigger frame around the work that is being conducted. Such an important concept, such an important thought or energy. You don't need to know how your heart works in order for you to get the benefit of it working. You don't need to know how to breathe in order for you to know that it's working. But the second you start appreciating your heart, you start thanking for your heart, you start using any amount of your heart emotions, you literally strengthen your heart. You strengthen the connection. Heart Math Institute. You think of things that bring you light, that bring you joy. And your heart sends more signals to the most extraordinary places within your body and within your mind and within your whole system to allow you to have whatever experience is necessary next. I want you to breathe that in. Your heart already knows what's going to happen to you in the next 3 minutes. For some people trained in remote viewing, with some people with their heart sense fully turned on, they can know 3 days to many, many years. How is that possible? How is it possible that you can know what's happening to your mom and dad because part of their blood is your blood? How can you know what's happening to the kin within your family? The more connected you are to your heart, the more literally blood becomes available to your brain. More literally, senses become available for you. The more senses that become available that are your own, the more of an effect you're able to have in the environment around you. It's such a gift. It's so beautiful. And it's so extraordinary, right? To step into this understanding, your heart holds the secret to distant healing. Your heart is the larger frame. Heart Math Institute, right? 5,000 times stronger than any other field that your body is sending out. So distant healing works by the permission. No one can enter your energy field without your permission. Permission is the most extraordinary gift you can give yourself. Permission for what, you say? What's permission? Permission to fully inhabit your body, to heal, to sit with and listen to what's most important for you. What's most important? What do you value? Everything's energy. Quantum physics shows that what you're experiencing is two objects pushing against each other. That you are feedback for the universe. That one object that existed, if it's divided into two objects, let's say I've got two pens, right? The same object divided into two. Whoops. Let's get a similar one, right? Two objects. You put a spin on this one, the same thing happens over here. Gravity works the same on everyone until they become, right, gurus of their own body, being inside their body and sitting in a room with people in Beverly Hills and watching them float. Many of my friends and teachers have shared stories. Many movies on Netflix, many evidential channelings of same phenomena. So the bones, the structure of your blood was and is of the elements, the periodic table, and everything in the periodic table, right? Everything known here is broken into that. And the way that it's organized inside you, the way that every one of those processes, everything affects, touches, changes, transforms everything else. So the you that's you is so similar to everyone else and when you're broken down into your elements, but organized and stacked at the way that you're organized and stacked. Your body is playing a tune. It's broadcasting a frequency. And like a cell phone, those that are larger than your frame work have an effect on you. Things that are larger than your framework have an effect on you. It's such a gift to fully understand gravity. It's going to work the same on everybody until you get that secret, that next level sense. You, understanding you, is the first stage of fully getting into understanding what is possible for you. When you are no longer resisting your own nature. And good intentions for yourself. And what does that mean? Good intentions for yourself. If you really understand that you are energy and everything that you do has to do with bringing together so much of your understanding, whether it's academic or actual in life. Every time you learn a new word, especially an emotional world, a whole new world opens up to you. So syzygy, right? SYZY, I've lately been thinking about some of my favorite words, and I love the word syzygy, right? Syzygy is, I learned it first in an academic setting. I was studying astronomy and zoology at the same time at LSU. I had a lot of interest in both of those classes. The instructor used the word syzygy, right? And it's a noun, it's Greek origin. It means metaphorically alignment of two people, two ideas or events. So syzygy, right? When I trace back my life, there were so many times that spirit, something greater than myself, was trying to bring me together with this guy I call Greg, the co-founder of Miracle Makers Academy. We have two beautiful children together, extraordinary, right? It helped me become brave enough to live out my dreams. It was my dream that was bigger than both of us. My dream, which is the part of syzygy, right? The arrangement of three celestial bodies in a straight line. My dream, to have kids, to have a family. I had given up on that dream, but I had put it into that field so many times that even though I dedicated my life to being quote unquote the Mother Teresa of medicine, never having kids, hopefully back then my hope was every 6 months I could be in another clinic or another location, another place. There was this celestial bodies, right? My celestial body, Greg's celestial body, our beloved Jasmine, right? This little girl that came into existence that chose us as parents. Everything is energy. This little girl gave me the ability to overcome all of my fears, to arrange myself, to actualize the phenomena that I really wanted to happen. And to really understand that this is what distant healing is. It's the alignment of yourself. It's the alignment of a dream. It's the alignment of something so great that's been out in the field. I believe, and I've read this in Patanjali's work, you're given at least 9 times that you can physically check out of this life. And when I say check out, I mean no longer have to inhabit this body by natural causes. Natural being an accident, or natural not meaning suicide, right? If the first year of life, the sudden infant death syndrome, if you're not going to make it to your soul's journey, your soul's purpose, your body will check out within the first year. And then every step along the way, it's one of the purposes of accidents. I'm putting accidents in quotes, right? Those are designed to get you present, including pregnancies. If we fully understand one particle shows up in the same particle is now in 2 places. It's not 2 particles, right? 2 places. You are multidimensional. And just because you can't see it yet doesn't mean that it isn't happening. And yes, these are theories, right? These are theories. Some people say, I'll see it when I believe it. For those of us that grew up with believe it, then you see it. And Joe Dispenza's work, Greg Braden's work, again, Institute of Noetic Sciences work. The larger frame takes up the smaller one. And so if there is a presence in your life that frames your life greater than yourself, you are moved in that direction. It's so important to fully understand. Many of us are still working from the framework of our parents, of society before the age of 7, inside the vessel. We might conceptually think, wow, I'm connected to everything. Yes, periodic table, every particle is still connected. What happens to helium over here happens over here as well. Oxygen, oh, that's why, water has perfect memory. We still can't create water in a lab the way that it's been created. It's extraordinary. Nature, you are extraordinary. You are nature. And I'm going to summarize all of these concepts at the end. I want to make sure that you're with me on the same page. This is a huge understanding that the bigger frame, if you can embody and create your own story, breath by breath, frame by frame, you're able to create incredible energy everywhere you go. Breathe that in just for a second. Right, so beautiful. Breathing this in second by second, moment by moment. Being in your body, inhabiting it, understanding your own powers, remembering fully to be here now. What's your value system? Oh, energetically, what lights your heart up? Ooh, what channel do you want to turn your frequency to? Ooh, you want to connect with someone else and bring them healing? Well, energetically, you've got to expand your love, your frame, to incorporate them into your life energy fold, force field. So great, greater than anything else. So great, right? Greater than anything else in that person's field, energetically, by permission. Sometimes that energetic charge comes from the exchange monetarily. What's the difference between a Gucci purse or Gucci belt and another belt? For a lot of people, it's how much they paid for it. They value it more. That's an interesting concept. Let's jump back in and answer specific questions.